the way I'm now thinking about the American election, there's obviously the kind of, oh, what did he say? Oh my gosh, isn't that embarrassing? Oh, he is a blooming racist kind of comments. But then there's also, what is this doing for us, and how do we learn from this? And I think that thing that I put up at the very start of the show, if you're with us at the start of the show, with this podcaster Jimmy the Giant, doing I'll just bring it up again in case you weren't here, bringing a clip up this week about how the left failed young men. I think that's a huge part of it. I think the messaging that the left in general, and I know people are going to, it's not the left, it is left. I'm just talking in general, right? The left in general have, I won't say turned their back on young men, but certainly have not provided what young men need and want, have not had a product that's been attractive to young men. And if you now look to America, you could also include in that the Latino population, black men as well. And there's something about the messaging from the left that the left in the world need to sort out. Now, we can also marry that up against why did this happen in America now? Well, incumbency has been thrown out the world over. Right? There is one place in South America, I can't remember the name, which country it was, but the only person who seemed to survive incumbency not being thrown out was the guy that they call the Latino Bernie Sanders. And I wonder why they didn't throw him out, because he has the messaging that Bernie Sanders has of populism. So yeah, I'd like to learn from this for us. And I think it's really important also for us to arm ourselves with knowledge and be accurate as to what's going on, because what's happening in America and what has happened in America is evidence that they do not have the knowledge. They voted out of ignorance. So you can see, I'm going to bring up some Google Trends charts for you. Okay. And I've done them from the 1st of October to the day after the election, just so you can see that the things that are increasing are upticking significantly after the election. It's not like a trend that you'll see all through the time. This was a Google search in the United States, only in the US, where we looked up, are tariffs good? So after the election, which was here, I believe, after the election, a huge amount of searches was out there for, are tariffs good? They didn't have that information before the election to help make their decision. Similarly, are tariffs bad? From the 1st of October, see if you can guess where election day is. So people who have been voting not knowing how tariffs work are then seeing the result, realizing tariffs are coming in and going, oh, what are those things? This is another one. Who pays a tariff? They're still arguing over who pays a tariff. Look, nothing, all through October, nothing through October, nothing, who pays it, nothing. After the election, who pays a tariff? And of course, the one that you've probably heard about, how do I change my vote? Change my vote. All the way through October, and then after the election, how do I change my vote? Can I change my vote? It's very, very evident that there is remorse. And when it was in the UK, it was called remorse, because it was for Brexit, with some people's vote. Now, let's be clear. Will it be all of the people who have voted? Of course not. There'll be some people who want to squash minority rights. There'll be some people who want to see both legal and illegal immigrants deported. There'll be some people who think there's a trans agenda, transing our kids. Those people will probably be pretty much happy through the Trump term. But other people are asking questions about their vote. This guy, John Cooper, I'll give you his lowdown. He was the campaign chair for Barack Obama, the national finance chair of draft Biden. He tweeted this out. My MAGA neighbor 5 minutes ago. I just read that tariffs are going to raise prices for stuff. I don't get it. I thought China was going to pay for them. I explained how tariffs work. I wish you could see the look on the guy's face when it sunk in. Yeah. And we're also getting stories from people that this is starting to impact the real world. A few TikToks that have been going around.
So it's already started. I import products from overseas. Products that are made of materials that are not produced here in the US. They haven't been produced in the US for, 50, 60 years. So no matter how much I wanted to pay, I could not get these materials here in the US. And all of my manufacturers have sent me emails letting me know that because Trump was elected and he has threatened tariffs, all of the pricing will go up in January in anticipation of these tariffs. So the goods that I buy will cost me more money.
So this is just with the threat of tariffs. Manufacturers through Asia are saying prices are going up, guys.
Not the other country. And then I will have to raise prices that I sell them at to make that up. So it's already started. And for people who didn't realize what a tariff was, you're about to find out, okay? Because it's going to affect everything that you buy.
There we go. We'll move on to another one as well. This is a comedian. His name is Walter Masterson. And he had to explain to this MAGA guy in real time what a tariff was. Have a listen to this.
I'm voting for the man that's going to take America back, baby. Donald J. Trump, man.
What's one of your biggest issues?
Probably going to be inflation, because I sell T-shirts and all that stuff.
Your T-shirts are made in the USA?
No, my blanks, no. See, that's the thing Trump's talking about. If we tax them, hit tariffs, the same item they're making over there will cost the same to make over here.
We pay the tariffs.
Well, the companies pay the tariffs, not us.
China doesn't pay the tariffs. We do when they come in.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Like if I'm buying 1,000 shirts from...
This guy's a voter, and he voted for Trump. And he gets his blanks, meaning a blank T-shirt from China. And he's happy at the moment.
China, and there's a tariff on it. I'm paying the tariff.
Well, no, whoever's getting it imported in is going to pay the tariffs.
Yeah. I'm the business owner. I'm paying the tariff. China doesn't pay it. I pay for it.
Well,
Like if I'm the business owner and I buy 1,000 shirts,
I see what you're saying.
China's not jolly. So I'm trying to explain.
Who pays the tariff?
They're paying the tariff.
Do you think that? Do you believe that?
Because I was trying to say, because I sell merch as well.
This is a great reaction, by the way, of the big dude in the cap. When the guy finally gets it, just the look of utter despair.
I sell you something for $10, right? You're going to sell it to him for $20.
Exactly.
But then I make you pay me $15 for it. Are you still going to sell it to him for $20?
Am I going to sell it to him for 20?
If I raise the price $5.
Oh, it's going to have to go up.
Right. So
Yeah, the consumer foots the bill.
I mean, just the utter disdain in that one. And look, I mean, I'm not going to, this sounds ridiculous. I know everyone gets it here, but if there's one person who doesn't, think about it this way. Your T-shirt manufacturer in China, you pay $1,000 for your crate of T-shirts. And then China gets charged a tariff of $300 on that $1,000. So then they got to recoup it. So they charge you $1,300. So even if you're taxing the China, they just pass the cost on to the person buying it from them in America. So if you charge someone more, then they charge the business buying it more, who then pass it on to the supplier. Mark Cuban did a very good, and I assume most people have probably seen this, a very good long sort of rant on Thread, explained the whole thing. I won't read it all to you, but I'm showing you this to show you a response. Right now, every company that imports from China is taking all the cash they can muster and buying up as much as they can and stuffing it in the warehouse in anticipation of tariffs creating accelerated demand for imports. That money would have been used for expansions, raises, bonuses, and other operational elements. Because cash is relatively expensive and it costs money to store inventory, those companies will increase their prices as if they paid the expected higher tariffs. He goes on to talk about the same thing will happen to exporters as well, because there will be retaliatory tariffs put back on America. Now, in this thread is this response. I took this off one of the YouTube videos because I couldn't find it because it's a very long thread, but this is in the Mark Cuban thread. Results have already started. This is from an American woman today. My husband works for a small manufacturing company, and here in southwestern Pennsylvania, that means most employees are Trump voters. When the president of the company sat them down to tell them their annual Christmas bonus would not come this year because they now need to purchase at least a year's worth of products prior to January 21st, due to the proposed tariffs, they did not understand. My husband said that their president had to explain what a tariff is and how it will directly hurt their company. They all thought the foreign company paid the tariff. Well, this is the point. Even if they do technically pay the tariff, then they pass the cost on. They all thought the foreign company paid the tariff. This is the level of ignorance voting against their own interest here in Pennsylvania, where we failed American women and children last night. So here is also some more information that's just been coming out showing how people have not understood what's going on and how some people are regretting their vote. Justin Wolfers, who is a professor at University of Michigan, economics probably, says that Senator J.D. Vance said that economists disagree about whether tariffs lead to higher prices. So this week, the University of Chicago surveyed economists and asked them exactly this question. Imposing tariffs results in a substantial portion of the tariffs being borne by the consumer of the country that enacts the tariffs through price increases. 95% of the economists either agreed or strongly agreed. 2% were uncertain and 2% disagreed. And there's a little note here that says the one economist who disagreed appeared to understand the question as asking about a tariff on one country rather than all countries, as Trump is proposing. So this is something now that we're going to keep an eye on. Now, I know a lot of people probably have issues with Bill Maher overall and what he's all about, but you remember that the Republicans in general have told us, they've gone, Trump won't be that extreme. You know, they haven't quite said the room will be full of adults, but that's what they've kind of been saying. And Bill Maher makes this exact point, that now it's like what we say about Christopher Luxon. He opened the door for the treaty principles bill. So Luxon, you own that, right? You are responsible for that. There are a bunch of Republicans who are responsible for keeping Trump in check like they said they would.
To my friends on the right, I said it to them last week. I said it to them personally, because they all have the same idea about Trump. He says a lot of shit. Okay, now you won. We'll see if your he just says shit doctrine is real or it's not. But just stop. You won. So you can afford to be magnanimous now, my right-wing friends. And understand that, you know, when we're worried about fascism, it's because he talks like a fascist. We're not plucking it from thin air. Okay. That's my message to the right.
There you go. So he's basically saying it's up to them now to sort that all out. Something a bit more levity for you, perhaps. Oh, I've realized I haven't got the thing I wanted to finish it with it on. This is the First Minister. Oh, no, this is not the First Minister. I think this is a Green MP. Greens MP. Talking to the First Minister of Scotland and how they congratulated Donald Trump on the win.
The First Minister offered congratulations to the convicted felon Donald Trump on his re-election. Writing officially on behalf of the Scottish Government, he wrote that he is sure Scotland's cultural and social ties with the US will flourish during the presidency of a misogynist, a climate denier, a fraudster, a conspiracy monger, a racist, a far-right politician who tried to overturn an election result both covertly and by inciting violence. Words fail me. What social and cultural ties does the First Minister really think will benefit from a relationship with such a man?
There you go. And then he goes on to say, well, I have to play a part, that's my job, sort of thing. So whatevs. Right, let's just do this last part. And this is what I want to say. I've shown this once before on this podcast. I'm going to show it again because We told you before the election in New Zealand what would happen with a national-led government, and it's happening. I'll show you what's going to happen in America at some stage for some people. Remember at the start of the show I said Trump is America's Brexit. And there's a bunch of people who are regretting their vote. There are a bunch of people who are educating themselves now after they've voted and of stuff that they should have known before they voted. Listen to this caller. He voted for Brexit. He regrets it. This won't be obviously every person that votes for Trump. It won't even be the majority of people that voted for Trump. But there will be people who voted for Trump when their daughter gets raped and they can't give her the care that they need because of the rules. When their family members get deported, when it impacts them or they see it happening to things and people around them, that this will be the call they'll make to their local radio talkback show.
In Exmouth. Bill, what would you like to say?
Actually, James, I owe you an apology, my dear fellow. I was wrong.
Go on.
I was wrong. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that, I'm an old-fashioned git, really, I suppose.
We've spoken before.
Yeah, we've spoken before.
Yeah.
And do you know what? You are right. I was wrong. For some reason,
Go on.
I thought we were better off. And clearly I was wrong.
Well, don't beat yourself up, Bill, mate. Listen to all the people that told you we would be. I've spent the whole morning telling them they've been whispering in your ear, not just for 2.5 years, for 30 years.
I was wrong. I am so sorry.
Oh, Bill, mate, come on.
What have I done to my country? So sorry.
Bill.
Just in case you missed it, amongst the tears, it was, what have I done to my country? What have I done to my country? The man who voted for Brexit. Trump is America's Brexit.
Bill, there's 17.4 million people. You can't take all the blame on your own shoulders, my friend. Come on. And look at the effort. These people are billionaires. They own the Ritz, Bill. They own the Daily Telegraph. They wouldn't have spent all that money on...
Sound familiar? The billionaires behind Trump? They own Fox News. They own the Washington Post.
They wouldn't have spent all that money and put all that effort into trying to persuade you to act against your own interests if they didn't think it was plausible. I'm not going to let you blame yourself, Bill. All right? No. Blame them, Bill. Blame them, Bill. Do not blame yourself.
I'm sorry, James.
Don't be sorry. Be angry, all right? And if you're not angry yet, I'll get angry on your behalf. That right that's why I've been doing what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years.
Now, James O'Brien is far more generous than me, because I wouldn't be saying that Bill should take no blame because Bill voted, and we all have the opportunity to be informed, even though people are whispering in their ear. But those things about billionaires are behind this. They've been lying to you. You've got a false narrative. The amount of conversations going on at the moment amongst independent media in America and about the left-leaning independent media, and pointing out what the right has. Something like 9 of the top 20 podcasts in the world are right-wing podcasts. And all the television networks that kind of work together, the OANs, the Fox News, and the left's got nothing like that. The left's got nothing like it. And I was watching Brian Tyler Cohen, and he got quite angry, I think. Maybe he wasn't angry. But he was like, the right have this ecosystem where, and you see it here in New Zealand. I mean, Winston Peters goes on the platform. You know what I'm saying? You see it here in New Zealand. And when the left have something that they want to share or get out there or highlight, they go to 7 Sharp. They don't come to the independent media world, but they've done this in America. They've owned the podcast space. They've gone on Theo Von, and whether you like them or not, they've gone on Joe Rogan. They've invaded that space and they've owned it. And the left in America hasn't. And you're seeing it here too. The politicians understand better. They'll go on those independent right-wing news medias, and they'll go on the News Talk ZBs and that kind of stuff as well. But the right won't come on independent left-wing media as much. And when the left wing have something that they want to talk about, they go to the mainstream media. And that's not where the audience was found in America. The audience for a Trump win wasn't found through the mainstream media. It was found through the alternative media, new media, independent media, whatever you want to call it. and they haven't figured it out yet. And it's, as I said at the start of this, I'm just fascinated about this as to what it means for us here in New Zealand.